Hello and welcome. Please let me know if you can hear me. It has been a while since I did a live stream with live audio. Today we are having a look at Omnisphere 3, and quick disclaimer at the beginning, I'm not sponsored by Spectrasonics. I got this at regular retail, so my opinion is entirely my own and not in any way influenced by the company. I'm talking about getting Omnisphere. I remember that I got this in 2008 when it came out. Oh, I should switch to the other camera. So this is my original box. I was clearing out some stuff, old boxes in the other room. But for some reason, a few days ago, I thought I could keep this. And then Omnisphere 3 was announced. So this was the original packaging back in the days. And let's have a look what was inside. The box, we have another box. It's box in a box. And in there, we have the most important thing, of course, 7 discs. 7 discs with samples and stuff to install. Then there was an advertisement for stylus. I don't know if this actually exists anymore. Then another sheet of paper with some useful information. Then an advertisement for Trilogy. Never had this one, to be honest. I think it's good, but I don't have it. And then also I love this, a user guide. Very nice. 64 pages full of informations how to use this thing. And also my serial number, 575. No, not reading this one. And also some other important documents. So this was Omnisphere in 2008, and then I think it was 2015 when the update Omnisphere 2 came out, and I also immediately purchased it. And I can only say that I think on all my music releases I did since 2005, I was using either Atmosphere or Omnisphere, at least in one track. So this is a very important piece of software for me, and so I'm very excited to play around with it today. Also, I must show to you, where is it? Here. This weekend I released a new album. It's called Antares Station, and it is on this interesting old-fashioned this thing here, or vinyl. We have 4 tracks on it. It's over 45 minutes. So the first track is 18 minutes, 7 minutes, 17 minutes, 7 minutes. So lots of music on this one. You can get it on my Bandcamp or my homepage, and I will try to ship it to you as quickly as possible. It's also available on a CD and also on streaming. Yeah. Also, please have a look at the chat. I put some top comment, whatever interaction thing where you can put your questions, because I will now work a bit with Omnisphere, and then I will go back to your questions, and it's easier for me to catch up with all the questions. And please also let me know if you don't hear anything, if the voice is too loud or whatever. So we are good. Yeah, that is Omnisphere. This is a patch I quickly made yesterday. And this is a typical way of how I do stuff in Omnisphere. If I turn off all the effects, you can see that I just started with just one sample. It's called Boat Vibes and sounds like that. And actually it sounds like this. Yeah. And from here, what I did, I used the new engine, which is called Dual Frequency Shifter, which is obviously a dual frequency shifter. This is something new, and you can do very subtle changes to any kind of sample or sound source, which is something I always like. And then I just made the envelopes, the amp envelope, very long. And then in the effect section, we have some very nice new additions. The new delay is not too bad. This is the tail of the delay. And then there's, I think I didn't use that, it's on 0. And then there is a new reverb, which is really good. It has actually two pages. So this is like the early reflections, and this is the main reverb. It's probably inspired by the lexicon stuff, so this really adds up to Omnisphere, I think. Yeah, so I think I will do some walk through some of the presets, and then I will design some of my own presets, because this is what I usually do in Omnisphere. I don't use too many of the stock presets, but they are really good. Yesterday, my dear friend Stay Azure did a long live stream, I think 8 hours long, where he showed like all the presets. So I won't repeat that. Just watch his stream if you want to see and listen to all the patches. What we have here, if we let me delete Omnisphere and open it again for you, what we have here is we start with an init patch. This is something I absolutely love, because it's not giving you a stupid preset where you should listen to all the exciting stuff happening. Instead, they are just giving you a simple sawtooth, and from here you can decide where to go. And they have those new directories, which are basically libraries within Omnisphere. Other companies would probably sell those individually to you. And so, of course, we want to go to the ambient dreams category. And inside that directory, we have a lot of categories. So if you go on all, you see that there are like millions of presets for the ambient dreams category. But if you, let's say, start with the textures, let's see if we find something to start a track with. By the way, I'm having my Arturia Mini Freak here on the desk, and that will be important later, because I will also show you the hardware integration stuff, which was something I was very happy to see when I played with Omnisphere yesterday evening. But for the start, let's just listen to some of the sounds. Very nice. think this is a great sound for starting a track. Yeah, I pick slow tempo and then I will record a clip. Make sure that the quantization is on and the length of my recorded clip should be 16 bars. I'm doing this on the push. Can you see that on the camera? Not sure. Why don't I hear a metronome? Uh-huh. I would like to stretch this out a little bit. I find it very interesting to see that it uses only one sound source. You have 4 sound sources for each patch, but this one has only one. And so what I want to do is first I want to make the release time a bit longer. It's very useful if you are on the envelopes to click on that magnifying symbol because, as you can see here, usually the slope is like this, so the release is dying very fast. But instead you want to make it a bit longer. We also have a cat moving here, and now going back to a different position. Hallo Neptun. Yeah, so this helps a lot to make the patch a bit longer. Also maybe increase it a little bit, and then at the reverb, I would like to see, it's very interesting, they didn't use the new reverb for some reason. So let me do this on my own. So I start the clip I just recorded, and then I add the new velvet verb. And also my phone did a noise. I need to turn that off. Yeah. So the velvet verb is like the new hot shit. I would say something like this works. So, like I said, A is basically the early reflections. So I set this to a big size and a lot of decay already. Mod is doing some kind of chorus thing. And with damp, you can decide if it filters out the low or the high end. On the B page, this is basically the blend between page A and page B, I think. And then you have the time of the long reverb, and you can also select the type. And again, there's an equalizer. And then you can compensate for the volume changes. That's something I like to do. If you add a utility, you can instantly mute the incoming signal to see and hear how the reverb sounds. Yeah, this is nice. Let's play with the frequency shifter and activate it and see if it changes the sound for... If you have settings which are very close to the middle, it only adds a subtle movement. You can probably hear that better without the tons of reverb. So this is a very subtle setting. This is without. And this is with. It's like a very slow phaser, flanger, whatever, hard to describe. I really love that they implemented this into version 3. Yeah, let's put the reverb back on. Let me have a quick look at the chat so that I don't miss you guys. The resource usage on Omnisphere 3. Can I actually say that I... Can you see that on screen? Yes, you can. So the resource usage is... I can tell because I have a Mac M4 Pro, and so far it's not doing any huge damage to my system. I have... a CPU meter. Let's put it on and see what it tells us. But I don't know. I mean, the total CPU usage is like 30%, but keep in mind that I'm running OBS and streaming to YouTube right now, so yeah, it's hard to tell. Okay, next question. How did they do this without increasing the install size? That is a good question. Asked Eric, please. I have no idea. Omnisphere, Falcon, or Faceplant? I don't know, because I don't have Falcon or Faceplant. The cost. Is it worth 500? I would say yes, because it has a huge amount of very useful samples. And I'm using this thing for 15 years. And still, every time I sit down and try to create a new patch, I come up with something. And this is only possible because the sample library is so well inside Omnisphere. So I would say, yes, it's worth 500. And also there are lots of good expansions. You can get the Luftroom stuff, for instance, which are fantastic presets, and so I would say yes, it's good for 500. Installing Omnisphere on my laptop to get started with ambient music, I would say yes, but of course you need something to load it in, like Ableton or Bitwig or Logic. So if you have something like that, a DAW, and you want to get like one synthesizer to make ambient music, I would say that Omnisphere is a very good starting point. All right, let's add a second sound. And I think I now need something more on the bass side of things. And I think I want to create my own sound instead of loading a preset. And also, I would like to show you how to integrate this keyboard with Omnisphere. If you open Omnisphere, there is a hardware integration button on the top here. I really need to switch off that phone. That's not good. And you see that there is a huge amount of instruments you can select. And if you go to Arturia and Minifreak, then there's a little warning message, and then the Minifreak is controlling Omnisphere. And I hope you can still see something because it's not, both are very small now. What's really, really cool is how they managed to pull off that, like, literally every knob here has its own function controlling in Omnisphere. So, for instance, have a look at the filter section. When I play something and I move, let's say, the filter stuff, I can control the filter over here. Now I can control the amp envelope, and you see that when I move to the other envelope set, it jumps. So here it jumps from amp to filter. Isn't that cool? So I can control this envelope here and that envelope there. Absolutely fantastic. It's even possible to control the loudness of both oscillators by switching in between oscillator 1 and 2 here on the Mini Freak. I can also change the pitch from one of the two. And also you see that on here on the screen, it automatically jumps to whatever I'm controlling. So when I'm controlling the filter, it goes to that global page. If I'm controlling the volume, it goes to the mixer page. If I'm controlling one of the oscillators, it jumps to the oscillator page. And I didn't do anything. I just loaded that hardware preset, and it's so cool that you can control big portions of Omnisphere already with just what's here. And when I take a look at my studio, I see lots of synthesizers that I could use as a hardware controller. My idea was to create a bass patch for this sound. So let's go back to the beginning. Let's load that preset again. So first thing, the second oscillator should be 1 octave lower. I want to close the filter. And then I also want to use the unison mode. So I'm going into the oscillator page here and activate the unison. This is something I do a lot. It's one of my standard patches. This is something I do a lot when I have a new synthesizer. I just do sounds that I did on 20 other synthesizers to see how it sounds. Let's add a little bit of envelope for the filter. So far I'm only touching the Mini Freak. This is nice. Let's see how it sounds together with the other sound. Yeah, it's a simple patch, but very effective, I think. Let's add a little bit of, I don't know why this is here, a little bit of reverb. I need to solo this. Could be a bit more. But of course not too much. Yeah, this is good. And where's the note? Here. Yeah, also you can always change the slope of the envelopes. So I wanted to have the decay move a bit slower. All right, let's find another sound. Maybe another pad sound. And what I would like to show you is that Omnisphere is completely backwards compatible. So if you have some of your purchased libraries, like for instance the Omnisphere, the Vangelis for Omnisphere by Luftrum, you can just load it and use it. But Sören was so nice to send this over, so this is a little sneak preview. There will be an upgrade, Vangelis for Omnisphere 3, which has some new presets and also uses some of the new features, like the new reverbs. So yeah, that will be, I think, released tomorrow, I hope. Let's see if I can find a nice lead sound-ish strings pad to play on top of that. Yeah, that's great. I want to have some more reverb, so I'm putting another velvet verb on, I think, the main bus, which is called Common here in Omnisphere. Let's see if it works. Yeah, that sounds like a big reverb. I'm just doing this to show you how easily you can manipulate the presets to fit your needs, because a preset for me is usually a starting point to sound. Cool, I think some individual chords will be nice. Let's record some of them. Hallo Neptun. Let me answer a few of the questions. Chris wanted to know the thing with A, B, C, and D. There is a function here which you need to understand. It's called signal path, and it's either shared or independent. If you're clicking on shared, it means that if you have like one filter, it's the same for like all 4 parts. Same also goes for the effects. So you see, you can only have like one effect chain which goes for all 4 parts. If you go here on signal path independent, then you can set completely different filter settings, even different filter types for each of the 4 parts. And you can also use different effects on each of the 4 paths. I think when Omnisphere came out, it was only using this independent signal path, but people, also myself, complained about the thing that it made it sometimes too complicated. If you have like a pad sound with different layers and you just want to have the same envelope and the same filter on all of the samples, you would need to individually dial that in on each of the parts. So they made this feature called shared signal path. I think this is important to understand. What else is there? I can talk about Falcon. I never used it before, I'm sorry. Yeah, get an external SSD. That's a good idea. They're not too expensive. I have some of those. They are from Samsung, and you can plug them directly into the Mac Mini, which is there. And yeah, you can easily put the library there. It's fast enough for playing. Yeah. Okay. No, Omnisphere 2 also has the function of shared and global. That was introduced, I think, in Omnisphere 2.0 or 2.5. Not sure. Yeah, so also what would be nice would be some effect sound. Let's see if we have something here in the library as well. Maybe... Where would it be? Effects. Noisecapes. Let's see what we have here. Oh. Wow. Ah, that's cool, because it's synthesized, it's not a sample. It's actually synthesizer stuff. Okay, it's really like field recordings. Yeah, that's just too easy to make ambient music, to be honest. I was more looking for something like that, to be honest. Fantastic, this is a JD800 sample, I love those. I would love to see if it's actually... Oh, the requested page could not be found. I would actually love to know if this is a new sample or something from the Omnisphere 2 library. But whatever. Yeah, this is great. Let me... There's stuff happening on my second screen right now. So what I would like to have here is another echo. So I need this one here. Maybe a very slow quarter note delay. This is cool. I think one hit. Ah, I made a mistake here. Hello. Type it in. That's stupid. Let's find something similar for the next channel. Yeah, I need more tea. What I find interesting here is that so far I'm only using the internal effects, which I usually don't do. Usually I'm always putting other effects by Valhalla DSP or Yuhi on my tracks. So that really speaks for the quality of the built-in effects here in Omnisphere. That is very good. I would like to have some piano kind of sound. Let's see if we have something here in the keyboard section. Okay, for this piano I will use something else, which is my special weapon for interesting reverse grain stuff. But of course I need to have some reverb after that, which makes it a bit complicated now. So I think I need to get rid of the built-in reverb and then get my Now I deactivate the record quantization because I want this to be more freely and record some sounds. I think it sounds better in the lower regions. Not too high. So let's kill the first part. Yeah. Maybe it would also be a good idea to save this rather than not saving it. But you can see that this is a very stable release. It didn't crash so far, which is good. Yeah, let's have some look at your questions. Sorry for not being on the chat right now. Richard asks about MPE, which is a very interesting topic, which I would like to explore right now. But first, please let me change my second camera so that you can see the Osmos keyboard. Yeah, I think that was a beautiful start, and I hope that I was able to show how to quickly arrange some new music with presets from the stock library, with some own patches. Yeah, so let's talk about MPE, because Eric was saying that this thing now completely supports MPE. To make sure that this actually works, we need to be sure that MPE is selected here in Ableton or whatever DAW you use. So yeah, I just loaded the VST3 version and I activated MPE. And here on the other side of my studio, I also need to move the microphone. I have this keyboard from Expressive E. Sorry for the noises I'm probably just making on the microphone. And yeah, this thing here is connected to Omnisphere right now, and as you can see, nothing happens, which is kind of sad. Let me see if it changes if I go to another preset here. No, it just doesn't play anything. That's great. Let's see why this is the case. So, okay, this is also not playing anything. So maybe I should just peel this and load it again and see where the problem is. So this plays. And this also plays, but it's, I think, not in MPE mode right now, is it? And once I go to MPE here in Ableton, it stops working. So this is probably a setup problem. I know that I should have figured that out before I started the stream. Let's see what the MIDI configuration tells us here. Osmos is in MPE mode, and Osmos is also, yeah, so I don't know why it's not working. This is very sad. I don't know how to go on from here, actually. Let me see if there's another function I need to activate here as well. System. There's another MPE knob. How convenient. All right. So you have to go to System, obviously, and then enable MPE here as well. So what does MPE mean? MPE means that you have individual control over each node. Let's do something very simple, at least I hope. Let's do a patch where I have the filter closed. Also, I don't want any envelope stuff. So this is closed filter. And now what I want to do is I want to map. I need to go back to the right preset here. Yeah. Ah, so this is the first thing that you can already see. So now what I can do when I have two different keys, I can wobble with a finger on the key. That works, fantastic. Also, what I want to do is I want to map the Z-axis to the cutoff. I will just leave the microphone over here and hope that you can still hear me. So let's see how am I supposed to do this. Maybe I can right-click this, modulate, and modulate with MPE-Z. Wow, it just works. That's great. Let's see if it works individually for... That's great. Let me take my other preset. Yeah! So that is absolutely fantastic. Oh, my alarm clock. I set the alarm clock because I need to get something on eBay. It's not a synth. So let's see if it's working. Yeah, sorry for this multitasking stuff. Let me reduce the cutoff frequency by a fair amount so that this is like rather low when I play something here. Also, I want to have the amp envelope slower. And now, when I apply more force, I can open the filter, which is fantastic. Also, I would like to modulate the loudness. How could I do that? It should be maybe the gain. No, that doesn't make sense. How would I control that to have it like? I will figure that out another time. So let's add some effects. Let me add a long delay. And of course, some reverb. And see how that sounds. That's fantastic. Also, I would like to introduce the frequency shifter for that sound. And what I would like to do is I would like to modulate the frequency. So again, I'll just right click, say modulate, and select MPZ. And here I can now select how much it will affect. Maybe also the mix. And also do the same thing for the B part. You can also select if it's like parallel or serial routing. So this should also be modulated. Also, we could do something funny and modulate it like in the other direction, so that the one thing goes up and the other one goes down. Let's see how this sounds. Yeah, this is maybe already a bit too much. So let's just mute that one and keep it at Great. I think that answers the question if MPE works. And so far, I didn't do anything. I just had one oscillator with a sawtooth. I think this is quite fantastic. Yeah. We could also have a look at how this performs with push. Let me first please adjust the camera. And yeah, so here's push controlling Omnisphere. And if I go to this little mode, and also we need to select a minor scale or Dorian scale. Dorian is great. Yeah, now it reacts to me pushing that a bit harder. Maybe it would be nice on the push to use the vertical axis. So instead of Z, I'm going to Y. Let's see, the other stuff here should also be assigned to the Y axis. I'm also changing the stuff I previously muted. Very smart. So now... now it does nothing. That's a bit sad. Why isn't there nothing coming out? What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? Is Ableton crashed or... No, it's not. That's funny. It stopped working. Fantastic. Why? What did I do wrong? Does it still work with the other key? No. Ah, great. I somehow destroyed the patch and I don't... Ah, because I clicked on this guy. Ah, okay. So this enables and disables the patch. Ah, yeah, that was stupid. So you see, this is all live and unprepared, and you are witnessing... Yeah, I think this works better for push. To use the Z-axis. Yeah, if I go to switch the scale to D, that could also work with the stuff I previously recorded. Very nice. I think I will record a few notes here. I think this is a bit too much of crazy modulation stuff. So what I will do instead is I will modulate the panorama with an LFO. And modulate the speed. And maybe we can do a slight modulation of the pitch. The pitch is here. So also modulate this with the same LFO. Also LFO1. Of course, not so much. And here the intensity will be modulated also. Ah, we can't modulate the intensity. That's bad. Maybe we need to go into the mod metrics to do that. So it doesn't accept a mod source here, but I think it's possible to do this in another slot by selecting MPE Y and route it to Ah. Ah. Ha. 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 Problem. I cannot modulate the intensity of another modulation routine. Maybe I'm just not knowing how, but either it should be possible to right-click and modulate this, but it doesn't. It doesn't show here. Or there should be a sidechain, which isn't there. Or there should be a way to target those stuff on the left. But I don't see that here somewhere. Let me please quickly show you. This will completely derail the stream, but I'm sorry, I need to explain what I mean. Let's open something else called Pigments. And what I want to do is, let's do the same patch. Let's modulate. We also need to. This is already MPE enabled. So this should be modulated with. Yeah. So this is now also working here. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to have an LFO. And the LFO should modulate the pitch. Like this. But the intensity of that modulation should be sidechained with the MPE. Which means why the hell doesn't it work here as well? So even here, it's not possible to sidechain it with... it's macro 1, right? Okay, they're just stupid because they are... This here, the macro 1 is MPE. So, sorry. Okay, I start again. What's happening now is that there is now no modulation and it's increasing. You see, it's increasing with the y-axis. Also, we can modulate the rate. Yeah, that is what I wanted to do here in Omnisphere, but unfortunately, I don't know why it doesn't work. Still, I would like to record a few notes. I think that this was enough MPE stuff right now. So you see, it's always a little bit tricky to set it up correctly, but once you set it up, it's quite fun to work with. Please let me know if you have anything you would like me to talk about. Let's have a look at the chat. I can see that you're talking about the Matrix right now and hallucinating AI. What went wrong at your end? Why I was trying to make some music. So please be so kind, and if you want to know something or have me do something in Omnisphere, please copy paste it in the chat right now so that I can have a look, because I won't have the chance to read through everything so quickly. Mutations. Ah, yeah. The mutation stuff. Okay. Yeah, that's something that is a feature that I probably don't need in my life, because okay, let's deactivate everything. There's something called Mutation patch, and let's just load a patch from the livestream library to show how this is going to sound. Okay, so we now have this beautiful of course that camera is not showing my mini freak right now. So this is a beautiful piano sound, and if we click on mutate, it will create a variation of that patch. Actually, I would like to know if this is like permanently there, or if it just is like temporary. This is like an organ now, more like a piano. It probably moves away farther and farther from the initial sound. Yeah, okay. Maybe we have this is the sound I was missing earlier. Yeah, I knew that he did this. So this is the famous Rachel's... What, it's a Rachel's song? Sorry. Patch, and if you mutate this... Yeah, we have a slight variation here. Okay, let's see if it actually works with my own sounds. On this new computer, I don't have too many of my old patches, but this is like the 2025 category. This is a sound I made with... Of course, there are no effects on this one, but now that we have good effects, we can actually put them in here, right? So let me do the big reverb here. Yeah, that's one of my patches. And let's see how it sounds when I mutate this. Aha. Yeah, this is not for me. I don't like it. I don't like my sounds randomly to be changed. I don't like those squarish sounds. Maybe it gives me another variation if I do it again. Okay. Yeah, now I'm getting some Juno 60 source sawtooth sounds. Ah, that's actually quite nice. Some Prophet VS stuff and signs from the CS80. And of course I need my reverb. Are there presets for that actually? Maybe here? No. I will figure that out on another day. Okay, so this is the Mutator. What else is there? Mutations. Mutations, yes. Do you have the Mac M4 Pro? Yes, I do. This is my machine. Ableton versus Bitwig. Well. Yeah, this is it's a painful topic to talk about. I must say that I'm moving between Bitwig and Ableton all the time. There's stuff that works better in Bitwig, other stuff works better in Ableton. For me, it's just about the workflow. They sound identical. There's no different sound to each of them, but I really love the integration of the push, which I have here on the desk. For playing live shows, arranging home concerts, whatever. This is just the perfect way to work with. It's fantastic integration. I know that there is a script, and the script gets better and better, but still it's far away from this kind of integration that you have with push on Ableton. Also, Bitwig 6 has some trouble. I talked to them about MPE, which is, I would just say, broken in Bitwig 6. They know it, and they try to fix it, but I have no idea when. The problem is that they are doing this automatically smoothing of automation curves. So if you record something and then they recalculate what you did to make like nice looking envelopes. The problem is that works great if you move a cutoff filter, but it's completely destroying your recordings if you do MPE stuff with the Osmos, for instance. So no, that doesn't work. Yeah, complicated stuff. Be careful with the mutations. They all go into one folder on your hard drive. When they go into a subfolder that has the date they were created, a bit clunky, but it works. Yeah, that was what I was afraid of. So if you create like 100 mutations, then you will have 100 new patches somewhere stored on your hard drive. I don't like that. Did you ever buy a new chair? Yes. This is the new chair. It's fantastic. You can freely move without hurting yourself. It's fantastic. It was also very expensive. I think I paid 50 euros for it. So it's my variation of loading 5,000 euro of equipment into a 500 euro car to play a 50 euro gig. Yeah, but this chair is great. Can recommend it. No idea about Luna. Don't use UID stuff. Presets for effects are under the arrow on the left. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. That was very helpful. Thank you very much. Yeah. Maybe last thing about Bitwig versus Ableton. The problem is that on push, the things in Bitwig, the layout of the tracks is vertical, but here on push it's still horizontal. So you have constant misalignment of what you see on the screen versus what you see on the device. This is also making things very complicated. Last thing for tonight, and then I will close the stream and watch some Star Trek, is, can you please show the vintage oscillator drift? Yes. Okay, that is maybe a very interesting thing to do. Let me create a new sound. And let's select maybe a more interesting waveform that was from the Jupiter 8. Let's take it from the OB6. Let's create a little sequence. 1 bar, quantize on, and see yeah. Very hard to operate this whole thing. Okay, let's do another oscillator here on... Oh, no. Go back! Okay, we need some effects here. And then I will show the drift. Okay, simple and quick patch here. And where's the drift? I think on the main page, right? No. On the oscillator page? Ah, yeah. Okay, here it is. So this is like with no drift. Aha. I think it's easier to understand if we would load two of the same copy layer, paste layer. Where was it? Here. So now I have two oscillators with the exact same setting. Yeah. So that doesn't sound very good. And I don't really know the difference between analog and drift. So this sounds like my Minimoog in the first hour after I switch it on. Yeah, but without any like detuning here. Why can't you reset this with the mouse click? This is so stupid. Yeah, Okay, so this was the drift. Which Star Trek? I forced myself into watching the what is it, season 3 of Strange New Worlds. I absolutely hated the first 4 episodes. So yeah, I hope it's going to be better, but don't know. Okay. Very last question. Thoughts Omnisphere 3 in comparison to hardware synths? Yeah, that's a tough one. Of course, hardware synths and software are different for 2 reasons. First, the features and the tactile control and the workflow. When I play a live show or home concert or whatever, I can, in seconds, create a new sound on a synthesizer like this, because it has a very, very, very thought through interface with a very clear layout of knobs, and so I can quickly do something. I can, after that, recreate that sound with a software instrument. I cannot tell Repro 1 or Repro 5 apart from the ReProfit synthesizer. I can't. But I would probably not come to that result if I started on software. So the hardware is giving me an immediate control over the sound, and that's something that I value in my music making process. On the other hand, when I want to work with sample stuff, I absolutely hate how, let's say, the Iridium treats samples and how to copy every file to an SD card and import it on that little touch screen. That's just a nightmare. And compared to this, something like Omnisphere is just fantastic because you have this huge library which takes you decades to explore, and you can easily create new sounds. So yeah, it's very difficult question. In the end, it's your personal taste. I don't think that the one's better or the other. I use both. I use hardware and software depending on my mood. Sometimes I don't want to work with a computer. I just want to play with my hardware. Sometimes I don't want to boot it all up and check all the connections. I just want to focus on the screen and do something. So it's different each and every time. Yeah, so this was a bit unstructured, 1.5 hour me twiddling around with Omnisphere. This is, like I said, Omnisphere 1. Yeah, I will just throw it away, I think, because this has no value anymore. I have the installer on my hard drives, and the serial number is in my user account, so this is just a box. But it also looks nice. Maybe I keep it. Don't know. Also, I need to, again, remind you that my new vinyl record is out. Depending on your location, it's easier and not so easy to ship it over, but there are solutions for all countries on the planet. And yeah, so you can get this thing and listen to my music on vinyl or CD or on Bandcamp, whatever. Thanks a lot for watching. See you next time.